The situation in Dolton, Illinois is getting dire. In case you haven't heard, Dolton, Illinois is a largely black city that has had until recently a relatively stable existence. While the town, like thousands of others, had its issues with crime and socioeconomics, nothing much separated it from the countless other small towns across the country. And like all cities, there was always going to be a noticeable level of political intrigue. There were always rumors that certain contractors got chosen because of their political influence, yada yada yada. Pretty normal stuff in just about every city. Then Mayor Tiffany Henyard came along. The levels of political corruption soon skyrocketed to the point where the city became a source of amusement across the nation. We were no longer talking about grumblings about small-time petty infractions. No. Once Tiff got involved, the corruption rose to a level that would make Al Capone cringe. But what can be done about it? Well, the city has yet to discuss an option that, in my opinion, could end the wave of financial terror that has crippled the city's reputation. And we're going to talk about that today. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With cold, blunt analysis cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's time for the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
Tiffany's M.O. mirrors those of gambling addicts, robbing Peter to pay Paul. You see a lot of this in the construction business. General contractors get a down payment to go buy materials before beginning a job, but will gamble some of it away on the horses. Now they don't have enough money for the job, so they'll go looking for a new customer that will give them another down payment they can use to buy the materials for their first job. But again, they lose a portion of it in Vegas. So each job pushes them further and further behind. At some point, they have a number of customers out there who have given them money and are expecting their homes constructed, but the contractor doesn't have the money to do any of them. Those that work in Detroit often end up on Rob Wolchek's show.
Hey. You're gonna get arrested for assault, man. Seth Churin, that's who.
His career is being a thief.
Seth Churin, alleged thief and really dumb guy.
I didn't touch him! I didn't touch him! Palms together.
I suspect this is what has happened with Tiffany Henyard. She probably started out with moderate skimming, but as the deficit grew from her nasty habit, she had to steal larger shares to recover. Consider what has recently happened to the funding of benefits for Dolton's firefighters.
Firefighters' own money that's deducted from their paychecks for the retirement fund isn't getting deposited.
I just think it's mismanagement. I think there's so much going on that no one can keep up with, like a priority list of what's important.
It's not nearly as innocent as mismanagement. No, this is purposeful.
All this at a time when Mayor Henyard is at the center of a federal corruption investigation looking into spending and contracts.
They're fed up. It's embarrassing. They see what's going on.
Dolton trustee Kiana Belcher says she believes money earmarked for the fire department and the firefighters' insurance and pensions is being misspent by the mayor.
And it's actually affecting their families, their day-to-day life. And that's bad. You go to work every day, you have money taken out your check, and then it's not going to the proper places. That's a concern.
In a statement, Dolton Village Manager Keith Freeman says, "We are aware of the several concerns that have been raised concerning health insurance premium payments and the shortage of the deferred compensation payments."
Yeah, we know you're aware of it. We want to know what you're going to do about it. But he has a great plan. Listen.
"We are committed and working tirelessly to remedy the challenges that we share as a village to attempt to make the bargaining members whole again."
You don't have to work tirelessly. You just have to do the right thing. That's not going to take a lot of work. Seriously, how much labor do you have to expend to get the firefighters the money they deserve? Now that the city doesn't have the money to pay its vendors, Tiffany Henyard may be cashing grant checks to pay the vendors. The city has an active community development block grant, CDBG, and if she has robbed CDBG to pay Ace Electrical, then she has committed a fairly serious federal crime, because CDBG grants are federal. So how can Dolton stop the bleeding? Well, forget Lori Lightfoot. As I explained in an earlier video, she has no authority to force Tiffany to open the books. Tiffany will simply stonewall her into futility. That won't stop Lori from leaving with some of the town's tax money, of course. Well, if she can find a way to get Tiffany to issue her a check. The FBI will come to Dolton's rescue, right? Yes and no. There is no doubt that the hammer will fall on Tiffany and her jolly henchmen at some point. The problem is that the FBI works at a snail's pace, but each day the city is losing money. By the time indictments are issued, it could be 2025. Keep in mind that indictments alone might not keep her sticky fingers out of the cookie jar. I'm not sure at what point criminal charges will cause her to lose her position as mayor. It might even take a conviction. By that time, Tiff might have already stolen everything not nailed down. What can happen if the city loses all of its money? Well, they can declare bankruptcy. The ramifications for the townsfolk, though, are severe. They can expect substantial tax hikes, and any future loans to the city will be done at higher interest rates. A city could be forced to ditch its community services, and the easiest ones to get rid of for a small town like Dolton are the fire department and the police. Why? The county can assume those services, although Dolton will still have to pay them for it. But that would save the city a ton of money. Naturally, it would be tough to attract businesses to Dolton if all these businesses can count on our occasional drive-bys from the sheriff department. So waiting for the FBI to do something is really not a good option. There is another path, however, and I'm surprised that no one seems to be talking about it. That usually means my idea is half-baked, but here goes anyway. The city could ask the state to take over its operations. We've seen this before in Flint, Michigan, where the city's morons mismanaged money so severely that the state appointed Darnell Early as emergency manager. He went on to renegotiate the source of water for the city and ended up poisoning most of its population. No one said that the state runs cities well. However, they can put a stop to outright corruption. Can they do this in Illinois? The answer is yes. Illinois is one of 20 states in the Union that provides this mechanism. If the state takes over, bad things start happening to Tiff and her merry henchmen right away. This means that it will be open sesame on all the city's bank accounts and books, and the public will finally know exactly what's been going on. Of course, the state agents won't need to subpoena records and testimonies from the bank because they are agents of the city, and the city is the bank's client. So they can get to the bottom of what happened to all the money pretty quickly. How would Tiffany react to the city of Dolton asking the state to take over? She'll cry one word: racism. You see, state takeovers of cities have been targeted as examples of racism in politics. The Thurgood Marshall Institute has an entire blog on this issue. Here's an excerpt. State takeovers of local government authorities are increasingly being used in majority black cities across the United States to seize control from local black elected leaders and deny the will of black voters. So Tiff would paint the city's maneuvers as a sellout to state authorities, most of whom are probably white. In case you have forgotten, she's not averse to playing the race card, even if her trustees and pretty much everyone in town is black.
Because y'all got false narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
But unless the city does something drastic, or perhaps if the FBI treats the case with the highest urgency, I'm afraid the city and its inhabitants are doomed. Should the city ask the state to take over its government? Let me know in the comments section. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.